Guys, in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Mattel DC Comics Multiverse. This is the Signature Collection TV series, The Flash. Let's first figure out, there's the tape measure, let's first figure out how tall the Flash stands. And I'm going to say he's about 6.5 inches in height. You get some stuff, a whole bunch of really cool things. First things first, a DC display stand. Obviously the Flash is featured on the front, but for the amount of time and effort that they put into making these stands, I would think that they're going to want to expand out the Signature Collection, or at least that's what I hope. Like, I don't think we've seen these stands before, and again, like the fact that they put all the little peg points and stuff on it, and there's a slot on the back, I hope that DC, or specifically Mattel, is going to be making more of these Signature Collection figures. Now there's a little slot on the back, which you can go ahead and take the John Wesley Shipp series Flash card and slot it into the back. Just like that. And it just sits very easily into the little groove there. It's a nice way to present the figure, especially if you have a whole bunch of them on display. And again, you can put the Flash on top like that. That's a little on the boring side, I know, but that's what we can do with it so far. Also comes with this rather interesting curved stand. The stand sits itself in this little open squared area in the back there. It's more of a rectangle than anything else. And that plugs into place like so. It doesn't give you the most, well, natural looking ways to display the Flash because it actually plugs right into the back hole of his torso. And it's a little on the high side. Even at the beginning of this review, you know, you can granted give him in more of a running pose, but it seems a little rather awkward to have him so high up from the stand itself. A fix to that could have been, let me go ahead and take him off the stand to show you. We'll just bring the camera back a little bit because I feel like we're a little too close. A fix to that could have been also, if we take the stand off, it does look like it separates. It's two separate pieces. Unfortunately though, there is no other, well, I thought maybe one of the pegs could have fit in there, but unfortunately it doesn't. So even though it does section, if they had only made it so that there was maybe a hole here, something, you could have actually had the figure stand on that or stand on the top there. So really detaching it does absolutely nothing. It does sit, like I said, a little high on the figure. It probably will be used for like across the board with other, hopefully DC Multiverse figures, maybe more caters to a Batman or someone that's flying, I think more so than somebody who's running like the Flash. So you get that. Now you may ask yourself, oh wait a minute now. You got a big hole on the back there. You got holes everywhere else too. But what are you going to do with that big square peg? Well, they thought of that as well. It comes with this, which initially I thought it slotted like that. And scratched my head as to where or why that would even have been the case. But it turns out it actually flips the other way. And it slots into place to finish and seal off the back. This is good if you don't want to display it with the peg. Downside to that though is we take the card out. It's very tricky, almost impossible to get it out, especially if you don't have fingernails. So I'd just go ahead and use a screwdriver. And then that pops out. Like that. Flash also comes with 5 pegs that you can put in different slots here. A total of 6 slots, however he only comes with 5 pegs. He only really technically needs 2 pegs for his feet. What you can do is those pegs sit in any one of those little slots. This is definitely not a nail day. I shouldn't have done my nails today. But the figure does peg into the little peg there, little peg points. And again, for Flash, probably makes a little bit more sense for this particular figure to be sitting on the pegs rather than on that little curved piece of plastic. And you can get them displayed like that. You can get a little bit more creative, granted. Yes, you can get a little bit more creative than that, but it's one option that you can go with as well. These pegs, unfortunately, like the little slot on the back, is very tricky to get out. I might actually have to just take a pair of pliers to kind of get those out, because today was a nail day. Shouldn't have got my nails done. Anyways, we'll put that to the side. Move the pegs and also to the side. Bring Flash back into the frame. He's obviously the subject of this review, so we're going to have to bring him back into the frame. The other accessories that he comes included with as well, clearly you can probably see, unless you have your eyes closed, that he does have closed fists as defaulted to his hands. Fear not, closed fist naysayers. He also comes with a pair of flat hands, or running hands, if you want to have the hands slightly gestured forward. And he also has a slightly, almost looks like his fingers have been broken, but he has a pair of gripping hands. I've seen better looking hands, but yeah, these ones are a little slightly warped. You probably take some hot water and just kind of heat those up, melt them back into place. I really don't get these specific hands for Flash. I guess if you want to just have him running to the sides of his torso, you can do that. But even switching out the hands like that, and pop the new hand in. There we go. I don't understand why there's such a big gap between all the fingers, or more so the pointer and the pinky are so far from the middle two fingers. It looks awkward, and it just doesn't seem right. It seems like Flash has had broken fingers, or like he's playing the piano. They're almost like piano playing hands. Doesn't make much sense to me, but I'm not part of the decision-making process of Mattel. And let's go ahead and put the hands back into place. Whilst I do this, I used to watch The Flash every Friday night. John Wesley Shipp portraying The Flash, the Scarlet Speedster. Used to watch him every Friday night. I think it was like 8 or 9 o'clock on CBS. I could just really randomly throw at any TV station. It doesn't really matter, because your TV stations may vary from the ones that I watched growing up. But every Friday night, I was entertained, I was enthralled by the adventures of The Flash. It was one of my favorite shows growing up, and luckily I was able to pick it up on DVD. And I have to admit, Mattel really did a bang-up job here of recreating John Wesley Shipp as The Flash here in plastic form. One could say he's an overly muscular character. One who would say that probably has not watched the show, because he was a very muscular character. At the very least, he was wearing a very muscular top. It's funny that the experimental suit that he would put on would also be an experimental muscle suit, as opposed to just being like a spandex. The face sculpt is actually really good, looking exactly like he does in the series. I could argue the point that he's a little on the pale side for the skin tone, but other than that, I think they really hit the nail on the head on Flash here. To my only real negative points, it seems like the fin areas here, the lightning bolt parts of his mask, one is considerably warped than the other. So again, a little bit of heat, a little bit of hair drying, you probably mold that back into place. But all the colorings meet their mark, or hit their mark. You got the very nice metallic gold here on his emblem, which also carries the same sort of gold down by his waist and on his arms. Dark boots, dark colored boots, which I'm sure some people would have preferred a more yellow or gold colored boot, but they ended up going with a darker, it's almost like a cranberry brown here on the boot. Very shiny, while the rest of the figure relies more on matte. They've done a nice job also of airbrushing these little darkened areas of his costume. So it's not just this dark red, but also you've got these little dark tones of almost a brownish burgundy in there as well. So it really does bring out some of the cool details and sculpts to this particular figure. He comes together rather nicely. Also, one thing I'd want to mention too is he doesn't have the split legs, which is something that DC Universe and Multiverse figures both shared, that little split cut. As much as I love the DC Universe figures, One of the things I grew so tired of was the split cut in the thighs, and luckily for the Multiverse figures, or at the very least for Flash, they've swapped it out for ball joints, and I hope this is a trend that continues moving forward. Again, big noticeable hole on the back, but you're really not going to see it from the standpoint of where you're displaying the figure. Posability on this guy, his head rotates all the way around. Being mindful not to clip his ear in the process of it. Arms rotate also all the way around, hinge outward. Swivel on the bicep. He's got a double hinge on the elbow. Rotation in the hand, as well as a hinge back and forth. Upper torso crunch. He also has a waist swivel, goes all the way around. Split on the legs, forward and back. Very, very nice bend, like the articulation on the legs. Top swivel cut on the thigh area, so you can rotate the legs all the way around. Double hinge on the knee. Rotation right where the boot actually connects itself to the calf. And you've also got a hinge on the foot. Let's not also forget, Flash has a hinge on the toes, which is something that you will not see a lot of when it comes to the Multiverse or Universe figures for that matter. Must admit, speaking from a Flash fan, at least a Flash fan of the original John Wesley Shipp series, I think everything about the Flash I really do like. I lucked out to find both the Multiverse Signature Collection Flash as well as the Val Kilmer Batman at my local Walmart, and the price point for these were roughly about $25. I'm glad that I picked them up. Although the verdict is not yet out on the Val Kilmer Batman, you'll have to wait to see the review of that. Plug. In the meantime, though, I really think that Flash came together here rather nicely. The head sculpt is very accurate to John Wesley Shipp's portrayal of the Scarlet Speedster on the CBS. It's irrelevant what TV station it was. But on the CBS series that I watched growing up, every Friday night, I used to love watching this show. And I'm glad that Mattel, for branching off and doing a signature collection, thought to go the route of giving us a Flash from that TV series. Like I said, the head sculpt is bang on for looking like John Wesley Shipp. It's a little on the pale color, mind you, for his skin tone, but everything else on the figure is colored appropriately. You've got the dark colors of the red and a really nice airbrushed effect of the additional shading here. Yes, everything comes together rather nicely here on the Flash. On a side note, though, I quite like the new display stands that we're getting for the Signature Collection. I hope this is going to be a consistent trend. The only thing that doesn't really work with specifically the Flash here, or at least from my own opinion, is the curved neck that you put at the back there. I don't think specifically it works well with Flash, but it's not to say it won't work well with other Signature Collection figures, which hopefully we will continue to get. Today we were having a look at the DC Universe, DC Multiverse Signature Collection, just a whole lot of words happening there. We're looking today at the TV series John Wesley Shipp's The Flash. Haven't had a chance yet to hit that little subscribe button down below? Don't be a Jimmy JJ. Hit that little subscribe button. You'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos. Like I said, we're going to have a look at the Batman Forever Batman, which I'm already thinking is going to suck, but we're going to have a look at it nonetheless. Certainly also more videos are going to be coming your way, so stay tuned for those. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.